What do drivers dream about? Do they dream about being the fastest? Or do they dream about tenths of seconds? Sometimes do they get nightmares and wind up in the wrong place at the wrong time? What about checkered flag finishes, burning rubber, victory lane celebrations, Gatorade showers? Or do they just dream about being the champion? Two drivers stand alone down the final stretch of the season. One, looking for the first truck championship of his career, and the other hopes to become the only four-time champion. This is no longer a dream. Welcome to the main event.
It's all about reality today at Martinsville Speedway. Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Kroger 200 on speed. First race run at this racetrack back in 1949. So a very historic site for today's race. 60 degrees the temperature, a little bit chilly, and overcast skies, but that's quite a bit better than yesterday. We had rain throughout the area, didn't get any practice yesterday, but it was a full day today. They practiced this morning and then qualified a little bit later. Take a look at our point standings. The Ford point standings, 39-point difference between Ron Hornaday and Johnny Benson. The tightest point battle in NASCAR, and some battles also going on back there throughout the top 10. Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Allen alongside Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip. Now, this is one of the shortest races we run, only 200 laps, just over 100 miles. What kind of strategy can we expect?
Well, Rick, we saw Dennis Setzer pit relatively early here in the spring in a 250-lap race. He ran some of his fastest laps after lap 200, stayed out on the racetrack, won the race. There are guys in the garage who are right now talking about not pitting at all. So the best strategy may be not to come to pit road at all. Stay on the racetrack. That way you have the track position. Mikey, I think that's the way you're going to have to win this race, either not pit or pit really, really early.
Yeah, we talked this morning during the qualifying show. You got to start in the top 10. You got to be up front if you want to win here at Martinsville. 15 of the 19 race winners here at Martinsville have come from the top 10. But not so fast. A year ago, 3 of the top 5 finishers started 18th or worse. And if you're not going to pit, then you can start wherever you want. And while all those other guys come to pit road, you stay on the track, get that important track position, and wander on off to victory lane.
Strategy may be the key word today at Martinsville Speedway. Let's go trackside for our pre-race activities.
And now, race fans, would you rise, remove your hats for today's Pledge of Allegiance, our invocation, and national anthem. Today's colors presented by the City of Martinsville, Henry County, and the Virginia State Police. For our Pledge of Allegiance today, students from Mrs. Doss's class, Campbell Court Elementary School in Bassett, Virginia. Please remain standing now for our invocation. Today's invocation by Eldred Davis from Raceway Ministries.
Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day, for the blessings of life. We ask you, Father, to be with the event today. We pray that you'll watch over the drivers, the crew, that you'll give safety to each one that participates. We thank you, Father, for this Speedway, for International Speedway Corporation and Martinsville Speedway, for Clay Campbell and all the staff. We pray that you'll continue to bless everything here. For it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
And now for today's national anthem, the Martinsville High School Jazz Ensemble.
We saw the flags blowing in the wind. You can see it in the middle of October. It is a little blustery here in Martinsville, Virginia. We're about to go racing. They'll fire the engines when we come back. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Toyota. Moving forward, brought to you in part by Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. And by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. Let's take a look at our Ford track description. This is an old racetrack, an old paperclip shaped racetrack.
You can see the turns are banked 12 degrees. Well, they say they're banked 12 degrees. They sure look a lot flatter than that. The straightaways have no banking whatsoever. This is a very, very difficult racetrack to pass on. I was talking to Kevin Harvick. I said, how is it being back in a truck? He said, man, it's great, but I really forgot how hard it was to pass at this racetrack. Mikey, you just came off the track for a couple of practice sessions, bottom of the racetrack.
Well, what happens, Phil, is you're going so fast when you enter the turn, and everybody dives for the same low part of this racetrack. That's why you can't pass, because you're on the edge, you're going as fast as you can, and everybody's in your groove you want to run. That's why you'll see, well, we saw 16 cautions here in the spring. We can run about 15 laps before somebody would spin someone out. Look for the same thing today. The only way you can get around the guys, knock them out of your way.
Optima Batteries race analysis. 36 trucks will start. That pit window, 140 to 150 laps. And again, it's only a 200-lap race.
Well, that's if we go green the whole way.
Right.
The average number of caution laps for this race is about 65. And a lot of these guys in the garage are counting on those 65 laps of caution. We talked on the very open of the show about some of these guys aren't even going to come to pit road. Some of them are talking about sometime between 20 and 30. I think every truck on the racetrack, if their truck's fairly close to being right, will pit by lap 30.
And, you know, we've seen a NASCAR race in the Truck Series won by never pitting. Dennis Setzer up at in Ohio. He won that race without doing so this wouldn't be unprecedented, but we've never seen it at Martinsville. Can they pull it off today?
It's possible. You see the newly renovated pit road. Take a look at this. The average starting position of the race winner here, 7.79.
15 of 19, top 10, right?
So that definitely adds to the average. Let's go back trackside as they are about to fire the engine. Let's hear the command.
And now, race fans, the words you have been waiting for the most famous words in motorsports. Welcome back our Grand Marshal today. He won a special contest with Kroger, Randy Schluter.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Thought that was an impressive command given by Randy.
Randy was all over that one, wasn't he?
He was fired up. The engines have fired up. We're about to go racing. The green flag will fly next. Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. The truck's about to start rolling around this racetrack, and here's the way they will line up. The starting grid will roll across the bottom of the screen. It's Ron Hornaday who starts out front. It's his 18th career pole, the 4th pole of 2008 for Ron Hornaday. As they roll across the bottom of the screen and the trucks begin to roll around this racetrack, we're going to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers. Our first driver is the 71, Ray.
And that is Ben Stansel. And you know what I really like about this young man? It's the typical path that you normally take to come up through the ranks. He started out in go-karts, moved up into late models, and recently he's been running in the Camping World East Series and also in Hooters. And they go to a lot of short tracks, so he thinks that's going to play into his favor today. But the track that he's run the most races on, that's Caraway Speedway. And that's a track where most of the guys go to test to try to get ready for Martinsville. He said it has very similar characteristics, and he thinks his experience there at Caraway should carry over for a good run today in the 71 truck. Adam?
J.R. Fitzpatrick makes his NASCAR debut starting 19th in the 12 truck today, a native of Cambridge, Ontario in Canada. He's 20 years old, and he's a 4-year veteran of the CASCAR Series. That's what we used to know it as, now the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. He was the championship winner there back in 2006, and he's also been voted most popular driver a couple of times. The plans for them to run Phoenix and Homestead at the end of the year in preparation for a 15-race schedule in 2009. Phil?
Adam, I want to take a look at a 22-year-old talented driver out of New Hampshire. That's Sean Kaysen of Germain.com Lumber Liquidators Toyota. That is a teammate to Ty Bodine. Sean came up through the ranks in the Busch East Series, now Camping World East Series. He was Rookie of the Year in 2005 and runner-up in points in 2006 and 2007. Won 7 races during 2006-2007. Ran a handful of ARCA races this year for Shige Hattori with Germain Racing. Had 2 top 5 finishes. Had a runner-up finish in Kentucky. Sat on a pole. A very, very bright future for that guy, Michael.
And the same can be said for this guy, 23-year-old Dustin Skinner. He's making his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut today here at Martinsville. This continues a Skinner family tradition. His dad, Mike, debuted in NASCAR Cup back in 1986. I was racing that day. And his brother Jamie debuted in the Truck Series here at Martinsville as well back in 1997. Been racing trucks and late models all over Florida and is ready to make his NASCAR debut, Rick.
Let's stay right on with the Skinner theme. We're riding along with Mike Skinner. He'll carry one of our Toyota onboards. He starts 22nd. Our Ford onboard will be carried by Colin Brown, and he will start in the 4th position, so a little closer to the front. Keep going toward the front. The Lumber Liquidators onboard, driven by Todd Bodine. He'll start 2nd today to the field. And Hermie Sadler will be carrying one of our cameras, the DirecTV Hot Pass onboard. He'll start 35th in that number 48 truck. Let's head trackside again to Ray Dunlap.
Well, for my final thought today, Rick, I wanted to talk about laps led here at Martinsville because, you know, there are 2 drivers that have won here 3 times each, and that is Skinner and Dennis Setzer, and both of those guys are at the top of the list on lap led. But when you start talking about the championship chase, look all the way down on our list there. Ron Hornaday with only 7 laps led here at this track, and Johnny Benson has never been out in front of the field. That's almost hard to believe. It'll be different today, though, because Hornaday leads the field down to the green. His goal is lead at least 1 lap and get those extra bonus points. So far this year, Ron Hornaday with 30 more bonus points than Johnny Benson. Adam?
Ray, you talk about the fact that Ron Hornaday has only led 7 laps at the short track here in Martinsville, Virginia, and that's amazing. And what's even more amazing, the fact he's never gone to victory lane here. And the reason why, he is absolutely the short track king. Look at the leaders all time in Truck Series history as far as winners on short track. 18 for Hornaday. You see Skinner, 16 times he's visited victory lane. Good numbers for Sprague and Setzer as well. We'll see if Hornaday can snap that streak today and get an all-important victory as we head down the stretch for the Truck Series in 08.
Thank you, Adam. We've got a very veteran front row here with Ron Hornaday and Todd Bodine.
Yeah, and if you're watching, watching on speed, we capture it all. We're going to show you replays. You're going to see how these guys move each other over. You're even going to hear from guys that get move over. But when you're sitting here at Martinsville, Virginia, it's information overload. It's sensory overload. You can see the whole racetrack. You got every truck in your view, and I just get all jazzed up for the green flag at a short track race like Martinsville.
We're about to see it. The field making its way through 3 and 4. Ron Hornaday bringing him to the green flag at Martinsville Speedway. It's in the air. We're underway. Short track racing. Side by side through 1 and 2. Todd Bodine doesn't give him an inch.
If you're going to make a move on the outside, it needs to be early on fresh tires. Todd's trying to stay up with him.
Hornaday's going to lean on him a little bit, Phil, run him up the hill and take advantage of that inside starting position to lead this first lap. There's 5 points for Ron Hornaday.
5 bonus points for Ron Hornaday, and by those 2 running the way they have been, Kevin Harvick's been able to move to the inside of the 30 of Todd Bodine, so Bodine will now slide back to 3rd.
But we know Kevin Harvick would love to see Ron Hornaday lead this race, lead the most laps to get those extra 5 points. Is he going to run interference right now and be a little bit of a blocker?
He's not going to go up there and mess with his truck. I can promise you that. I don't think Kevin Harvick knows how to run interference, so he's going to go fast. He's going to make sure he drives away from Todd Bodine, but I don't think he's going to go try to get the lead, Phil.
I don't think so either. I think he's going to ride right there. He's going to keep himself between Ron and Todd Bodine. Here's a battle for 5th right here. Rick Crawford is going to take over that 5th spot from Colin Brown.
Colin Brown looks a little loose getting out of turn number 4 there. Had to chase that truck up the racetrack.
You know, last week we talked about, at Talladega a couple weeks ago, it's synchronized driving. These guys all driving all over top of each other, racing side by side. I don't think it's a whole lot different here. Only deal is this week they're synchronized front to rear. They're running all over the back. Yeah. They're not really running side by side as much, but it's still really important to understand what that truck's doing in front of you. Did he get on the gas the way he did the lap before, or when you get on your gas, are you going to run into him?
Look at JB on the inside trying to make a move for the 3rd spot.
Johnny Benson moves to the inside. Todd Bodine tries to take that spot away and does.
Now what's going to be interesting when Johnny Benson gets up there to Kevin Harvick. I know Kevin would love to see Johnny Benson stay behind him.
But I tell you what, what Kevin will do. Rather than just sitting there riding, blocking it, running interference, I bet you he'll say, Ron, I got to go. I'll get around you, and I'll lead this race, and Johnny's not going to lead it. That's one thing that Kevin will make sure of.
Out front, it's spreading out, but back here, back in the pack, it is starting to go 2 by 2.
There's Sean Case right there, the 9 truck on the inside. Jared Fitzpatrick, the 12. Jeff Green, the 40. There's Ben Stancil, the 71. A lot of good trucks back here. Brendan Gaughan's in the middle of that mix.
TJ Bell in 7.
These guys right now, they're racing side by side. They know they're near the back of the pack, but they're not all together overly concerned about it right at this moment. As soon as they look in the mirror and see those leaders coming, you just watch the caution flag fly. Somebody will knock somebody right out of the way.
Jeff Green tries to work to the inside of Jared Fitzpatrick. He's got a nose up under him right now.
And another thing we have to watch out for, we've got 5 drivers that are making their first ever start in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Some of them are going to maybe forget about that curb that's on the inside. And when you're running side by side, somebody hits that curb, it shoots them right into the outside of the truck.
Yeah, Dennis Setzer doesn't often forget about that curb. He just took over a spot right there from Colin Brown. That moves him up to the 6th spot. That's a guy you're going to have to watch. He's one of the guys in the garage here Michael was talking about not coming to pit road.
And I think that should give you a clue if you're a young kid trying to figure out how to drive Martinsville. Everybody gives Dennis props for being so good here. Why is he so good here? Because he's smooth on that gas and he's smooth off of it. Not only getting the best traction that way, but also getting pretty doggone good fuel mileage because of the way he uses that throttle.
And you know one of the reasons he gets good fuel mileage, Michael? He brakes with his right foot. He never has the brake depressed and the gas at the same time, obviously.
Well, Harry Gant was very successful here. He's another guy that always just drove with one foot.
I'll tell you another guy that did that here and won a lot of races here. He's won a lot of races, all over. Richard Petty. Yeah.
Take a look at this. Rick Crawford looking again to the inside of that 30 of Todd Bodine. Can he make the pass?
Todd leaves him a little bit of room. That's wise. You can't be cutting people off. You'll just get spun out. So somebody makes a run on you, gets down on the inside of you, better leave him a little bit of a hole.
It's a battle for the 4th spot right there. Rick Crawford, the 14, trying to take over 4th from Todd Bodine.
Oh, not a lot of room, though, when he does make the pass, and he makes a little contact. That allows Dennis Setzer to look to the inside of Crawford, but he won't be able to get by him this time through 1 and 2.
You see how Setzer did it right there? He had a run on the inside of Crawford, but he didn't think Crawford knew he was there. He rolled off the gas, gave Crawford the ability to get back to the bottom of the track. A lot of guys would have just said, I'm in here, I'm storming on in. Look at Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, here's a guy that might storm right in, Adam.
Yeah, and he fits in when he comes racing at Martinsville. We talked in our pre-race coverage today about the fact that he was able to get a victory here in his only truck start at this facility back in 2004. 7 top 10s in Sprint Cup competition. So much about being successful here is having a rhythm. McMurray has found it early, starting 9th and comfortably riding inside the top 10, Ray.
And Adam, Colin Brown is slipping backwards. He has gone from 4th to 9th, and his spotter, Bobby Hudson, is telling him he needs to roll through the center and be a little more gentle on the brake. He said he can tell that he's stabbing those brakes, and it's making the nose drop down, and he's dragging the splitter on the track. So rolling the center is the key for Colin Brown. Now he's back in single file. That may help him.
So Colin Brown getting back toward that curb or the yellow line on the inside of the racetrack, allowing him to get back in line. We're hearing that the bumper cover is about to come off there. The 07, you just saw it.
Yeah, that's a little piece of fiberglass. That's not a big deal. I'm not even sure if NASCAR sees this and sees it fall on the racetrack. I don't even think that would bring a caution flag out.
Ron Hornaday continuing to lead laps and now starting to lap some of the slower trucks on the racetrack. His team owner and teammate Kevin Harvick right behind him in 2nd. Johnny Benson 2nd in points, running 3rd. This Thursday on all new Wrecked. Rush Hour Mayhem Grip Chicago sending O'Hare Towing running from accident to shocking accident and forces Bill to handle a dangerous wreck all alone. Don't miss Wrecked Thursday night 10 Eastern 7 Pacific exclusively on Speed. Riding along with the NASCAR Hot Pass DirecTV camera of Hermie Sadler.
TNA Wrestling also on board Hermie's truck.
Hermie's already fallen a lap down. Can't quite get that thing to turn in the center of the corner, it doesn't look like. Jamie McMurray gets on the outside of Hermie.
It's so difficult to like Hermie just to jump in this truck. He hasn't been in a race vehicle in a year, and he jumps in here and tries to run one of these, probably one of the more difficult short tracks you can run.
That 81 of Donnie Leah making the move around him. Adam, what's going on with Donnie?
He's been quiet on the radio in the early going, started 12th up to 8th, and this should not be a surprise. A top 10 finish here earlier this season, and this is his specialty. The former modified driver loves the short, flat racetracks. Martinsville, a perfect example of that, Ray.
Tight in the middle is the situation for Todd Bodine, so they're talking about a chassis adjustment here on the first round of pit stops. And Phil, I just went up and down pit road talking to a number of crew chiefs here on my end down in this corner, and most everybody has said that all of this corner is going to pit. There's nobody down on my end that's going to try to make this. They're hoping to come in between lap 30 and 40, no later than that. And if we were to get a caution, then I look for most everybody on my end to make it down pit road.
Yeah, Ray, I think right now people are worried that we've run almost 30 laps and we haven't seen any caution, because the guys that we're talking about going all the way are going to count on at least 60 laps of caution flag. Here we have run 30. You talked, Michael, that we didn't average running 15 laps before, and the last time out here was 16 caution flags. So I think right now that the guys we're talking about not stopping are getting worried that we've run so long.
Maybe even changing their mind. It'd be really interesting to see, but if the caution were to fly now, I think about the whole lead lap crowd comes to pit road, gets it over with, and now all of a sudden that qualifying position becomes hugely important. There wasn't any way to steal track position. Everybody was on the same agenda.
Right. Earlier when we were at commercial break, we actually were listening into Ron Hornaday's radio. He was talking about chattering in the center of the corner.
Means this truck wouldn't turn, and that's only going to get worse. As the air comes up in those front tires, it's going to want to push more and more and more. But he's found some way to drive off from everybody with the chattering.
Yeah, and he's only run that last lap about 0.3 of a second off what he ran his fastest lap. So these tires that Goody brought here just keep the speed lap after lap after lap, Michael. And that's why guys can think about stopping on a lap 30 of a 200-lap race, or maybe not even stopping at all, and know that they have enough tires to compete at the end.
Working around slower lap traffic. We're seeing some trucks making their way by.
What do you think? We're going to go caution free today?
I don't think there's absolutely any way.
I don't want to jinx it, but I'm saying right now everyone's running a pretty clean race. I mean, we haven't seen anyone get too impatient up to this point and move anyone out of the way to take a position.
Yeah, there's a good there's a spin right there. Sean Case up into the outside wall.
And as quickly as we talk about it, the caution comes out. It is Sean Case in the wall in turn 4.
And the key to that, Rick, the leaders had just driven right up to the back of that group, and people just get more. You got to go at that point.
You're intense. And
Sean received.
Sean was on the outside. Not sure if he had any contact at all. You see the damage to that Germain Toyota. Lumber Liquidators also on board that Toyota. Not considerable damage for Sean's truck. They probably get that thing beat out.
So we see 35 laps of green flag racing before the first caution comes out. Now we've talked about that pit strategy, and right now we see here comes the 33. As you see a look at the 9 getting turned around, but the 33 of Ron Hornaday's down there on pit road. Adam.
And his teammate coming in as well. It's going to be fuel only for Kevin Harvick. They're going to make a slight chassis adjustment. He is loose into the corner. They give away. The 2-truck pulling away. His teammate in front of Ray Dunlap.
And it looks like a fuel only stop for Ron Hornaday too. He's saying tires feel good, no problem there. As Johnny Benson comes around the corner, Trip Bruce is saying it's going to be a 4-tire stop for the guys on the number 23. So they believe tires are going to make a difference. As they're doing right sides, Hornaday and Harvick come by, but those guys will have to stop for the end of the field to come around. So Johnny Benson is going to get 4 tires. Setzer has gone by, the 14 of Crawford, and Johnny Benson will be the 5th or 6th guy off of pit road. Adam?
And Jamie McMurray, who started in the 9th position, was running in the top 10, elects to go right side tires. So varying strategies along the pit lane on what will likely be the only stop of the day. Some guys going 4 tires, others with 2. Track position being optimum. There are a number of guys that say fuel only.
I think everybody right now that was on the lead lap came to pit road. I think they ran so long under green that scared these guys that were talking about not stopping. They all came to pit road and at least got fuel.
When you run around under caution, you can run 1 caution flag lap, and that's the equal of 3 under if you're running wide open on the track. So that's why they couldn't afford to trade off that time on the track.
See, Todd Bodine, as he's trying to leave pit road, he had to stop and wait for Eric Donnell, who had just pulled in his pits. That allows 2 or 3 trucks to get by.
Now those guys are racing, and that's...
Yeah, Todd's not happy at all because he got pinched into his pit stall and then not able to get around him, and still didn't come off of pit road in front of that 99. So I'm guessing Todd is very frustrated right now at the fact that he got, well, stuck on pit road.
Looked like those guys had a lot of speed exiting. I'm surprised we didn't hear one of them getting caught for speed, and they had a pretty good race going on.
Kim Lopez, our flagman, has given the 1 to go sign, so next time by we will see the green flag come back out here. Great short track racing already. It's been Ron Hornaday that has been extremely impressive the start of this race and won the race off of pit road. Was able to get out in front of his team owner, Kevin Harvick. And then it's Dennis Setzer just behind Kevin Harvick. The 14 of Rick Crawford is 4th, and Colin Brown in the 6th is 5th.
What's
not sure what Scott Speed is doing here.
I think he wanted to be on the outside line, which he can do.
It's a little bit too late to do that, though.
I don't think he's going to get away with that.
No, that's. I think they're probably going to already reach for the black flag right now for Scott Speed. Scott had to go to the back of the pack for the very start of the race for adjustments after the impound, and I think at the last second he decided he could probably restart on the outside, because I don't think he came to pit road, but I'm not sure that's going to work how he did it there.
Looks like they're going to let him get by with it. He could indeed start on the outside. It just looked like he left a little bit earlier, but maybe NASCAR decided Ron didn't know what was going on, so he just didn't take off either.
So when the green flag came out, Scott Speed had a little bit of a jump, but again, he was a lap down, and now Ron Hornaday continuing to lead this field.
He was able to start on the outside line because technically, Rick, he was ahead of Hornaday, thus on the tail end of the lead lap, and you're able to start outside if you want to do that. And the reason why it's good to do that, if you can, is it puts the leader behind you instead of beside you.
Look at this mix at the back of the pack. The 11th right there is David Starr. Sam Hornish Jr. the 4 on the outside. There's Jack Sprague back in the 60 truck. Brian Scott the 16. Skinner in the 5. There's John Wood, the 21, jumps to the outside of Dustin Skinner in the 03. Mike Son making his first ever Truck Series start.
3 wide as they go into turn number 1, and it looks like it might work.
They made it. Amazingly enough.
Still 2 wide around this racetrack, and we got a problem there. Dustin Skinner up into the wall.
Looked like the 21 of John Wood got into the back of Dustin and actually turned his truck a little bit to the right when Dustin was trying to get turned to turn down in the corner.
There's damage to the right side of that race truck, but we still have no caution.
It's got the right front toe knocked way out there, Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, and there are the cautions going to come out. We've got a problem in turn 2 as well. The 0 of Chris Jones gets turned around.
Well, now we're starting to work a little bit closer back to our average. Yeah, we're 2 and 44 laps. We got it down to 22 laps before we have an average caution.
We're not going caution free then, obviously, here.
So the funky start that Scott Speed got enabled him to stay on the lead lap.
It sure looked like there wasn't anything that was going to work, but more than likely he did not go until the double red line, which is the restart point.
Take a look at this. This is Dustin Skinner and his problems that he had.
He just got hit in the back by John Wood. You can see the front end of Wood's truck caved in as Skinner goes into the wall.
Yeah, John was on the back of him. They got against him going down in the corner right there. Boom. You see Dustin backed off for the corner. John didn't. He got into the back of him and just pushed his truck actually to the right almost. Dustin had the wheels turned to the left, trying to go left.
And it didn't work. So Dustin Skinner gets into the wall, brings out our second caution of the day. We'll be right back for more green flag laps from Martinsville Speedway. Hey, NASCAR fans, come out and witness the crowning of this year's NASCAR Sprint Cup champion at Homestead Miami Speedway. Ticket packages are still available and start at just $25 or $55. All you have to do is visit homesteadmiamispeedway.com/SpeedTV or call 1-877-515-7223.
Nice job on that number.
Check out the lucky dog there from Aaron's. Ben Stansel's getting back on the lead lap, courtesy of Aaron's.
Giving away a lap. We'll be right back. Green flag just coming back out at Martinsville Speedway. The Kroger 200 underway. It's been Ron Hornaday out in front of the field, and no one has contested him in the first 52 laps.
There may be a truck behind him that could be the fastest truck on the racetrack, but fortunately for Ron, it's his truck owner, Kevin Harvick.
Dennis Setzer starting to make a little noise too. He's driven up to the 3rd spot. So They'll know he's here before it's all over.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Dennis Setzer has the 8 of Chad McCumbee behind him, the 14 of Rick Crawford, the 23 of Johnny Benson, all fighting for spots.
Chad McCumbee is 1 lap down.
Yep.
The rest of those trucks you mentioned are certainly fighting for spots on the racetrack. Johnny Benson, we saw him drive up to 3rd after the start. He is right now being shown in the 5th spot behind the 14 of Rick Crawford.
I'll tell you, as a race car driver here, you come off the turn, your truck kicks sideways one time, you say, oh no, please don't start that. And then you come off the next turn, you're so nervous, you know, you got your foot wide open, and there's not a whole lot you can do here. You got to get on the gas so hard. If this back end comes out from underneath of it, you're really in jail. And these guys.
Oh, David Starr gets to the back of the 99.
Eric Darnell goes around. David Starr got into the back of him, so Darnell slides around, and that brings out our 3rd caution of the day.
Darnell did a good job of driving that thing after it was out of control, Phil. That could have easily wound up down on that inside wall hard.
Made a little bit of contact with the inside wall, but you can see from that look right there, very, very little, if any, damage.
Not enough to hurt anything. He'll have to come in, get some tires now. So his strategy now goes out the window. Whatever he had planned, he's got to change that plan.
Yeah, might as well come in because he's not going to lose anything. He's going to be one of the very few trucks that comes to pit road.
See the damage on the left front. Let's take another look here.
He changed lanes a little bit. Thought he might be able to shift down and get under his teammate. And David Starr's nose was in there already. That's a racing deal, more or less.
David was already there, already right on the bottom, right next to the curb. Going to absolve him from any blame. Right, you see David right there. They're just going to try to get underneath the 6 of Colin Brown, and just not quite enough room to make it.
Good job, though, I'm telling you.
Just a little contact with the inside wall for the 99. Our Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 8 of Chad McCumbee. So Chad McCumbee will be back on the lead lap, and Ron Hornaday still out in front. Kevin Harvick running 2nd, Dennis Setzer 3rd. This is what happens when you short track race at Martinsville. Not enough room. Darnell gets turned around. Welcome back to the Kroger 200 on Speed. Martinsville Speedway, the site of this, the 5th from the final race of the 2008 season.
Going back racing. See if Hornaday can get another one of those signature
green
starts.
Flag, green.
Drives away from his teammate by a couple truck lengths there.
Yeah, and beats that lap truck down to the bottom of the racetrack. That's key. See Kevin not quite able to beat that truck, so Ron opens up about 3 truck lengths.
The 07 and the 08 are going to be battling right there behind the leaders, taking them 3 wide into turn 3.
Good move by Johnny Sauter in that 07 to back off.
He just could not see a future in where he was headed.
Ryan Lawler's in that 08, thegunbroker.com 08, and he is a lap down car, so a lot of these lead lap trucks, a lot of these lead lap trucks are trying to work their way around him to get caught back up to the 2 and the 33 in front of this field.
You can see he's slipped to the outside there now, so Rick Crawford down underneath the 08.
There's a Toyota on board of Mike Skinner right there. Mike right now is being shown in the 17th position.
It's been a rough day for him ever since they qualifying didn't go well. And
started 22nd, Michael, his worst start of 2008.
That was very surprising to see that after he was 3rd quick in practice this morning.
Kyle Busch and Jamie McMurray battling there. Looks like Kyle got the best of Jamie, and it's going to allow Todd Bodine to get down to the inside.
That's what's so tough, Phil. When one guy gets by, they all line up and want to come by you. We saw Todd Bodine make the move. Jamie's able to drive over in front of Timothy Peters and get back to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, that was huge because, you know, there was no telling how long he was going to be stuck to the outside, especially so soon after a restart when these guys are lined up nose to tail.
Yeah, you lose your momentum or lose a spot 20, 30 laps into a run, it's not that big of a deal. But right now, you could lose 10 or 12 spots.
We've seen
3 wide.
3 cautions already. This is a caution brewing. 3 wide at Martinsville. This doesn't normally work.
Had a Canadian sandwich there. J.R. Fitzpatrick's from Canada. He was in the middle of that group. Ben Stancil on the inside. T.J. Bell on the outside. In the 7, we're getting a report that T.J. rubbed that wall. We got a little contact there from the 16. Brian Scott, and he did make a little contact with the outside wall.
That shouldn't hurt that truck bad. Probably hurt his attitude a little bit.
TJ really has come around here. He's got several top 10 finishes here in the last few races. Really doing a nice
to win that race at Talladega.
He came across the white flag 2nd.
Yeah, very impressive run for TJ Bell. Actually got into the wall at Talladega right at the finish line. Did quite a bit of damage to that race truck.
Makes a good move there. Gets around the outside of the 12 and now drives down on the inside of that 0 truck of Chris Jones.
Yeah, the truck sticks and he's able to get by that 0. See at the very top of your screen, Eric Darnell. Remember, Eric brought out the last caution flag. Johnny Benson right now is running in the 4th spot. Ray, what's going on with Johnny?
Well, Phil, I just wanted to go back to that round of pit stops. It happened on lap 36, and Trip Bruce was on the radio with his crew and said, we're doing 4 tires. Johnny saw all the guys go by, and he said, what happened there? How come they all beat us off pit road? And Trip said, no tires. Johnny said, well, what does that mean? Trip said, well, it's pretty simple. We put on 4 good years. They put on 0. And Johnny said, well, that'll play to our favor towards the end of the race. I think tires could make a little bit of a difference, and he is slowly working his way back up. He restarted 6th, up to 4th, and he's getting ready to battle with Setzer. Adam?
You can't say enough, Ray, about young Timothy Peters. This guy doesn't run week in and week out. They don't have a big budget, but here they are at Martinsville, a place where he has so much success, and they're right where they need to be, running in the top 10. And when you look at his record at this facility, it says he will be good. 5 starts, 2 top 10s. In fact, he led 46 laps here en route to an 8th place finish in 2005, and it looks like he's going to have an opportunity for another solid run today.
Well, I sure do. I like that 4 tires. No more positions that he gave up on the track. He only dropped back to 6th, and then now he's got 40 lap better tires.
Absolutely, and all green flag laps
and
too.
You can see him. He's all over Dennis, and Johnny's patient. You know, he's not going to force the issue. He just keeps hanging down to the inside of Dennis, just letting Dennis know he's there. I'm a little bit faster. And Dennis will see that in a second and give him a break. But Johnny's really good. Look at that truck. See how he's just looking over to the left, saying, hey, Dennis, I'm here. If you don't mind, I'll take a break right here. Me and you both will be on our way.
Yeah, Johnny ducked to the inside that time to let Dennis know that he did have a run on him and went to the inside. Dennis did come down to the bottom of the racetrack. Meanwhile, back up front, Ron Hornaday's let them all.
We have to keep our eye on that 23 of Johnny Benson as he goes by the 18 of Dennis Setzer.
Yes, you better. That truck's right now, and he's only about a half a straightaway behind our leader.
And remember, he has the freshest tires on the racetrack because they did come onto pit road and put 4 fresh tires on that racetrack.
This is textbook, Phil. A little high in the center of the corner. Got a good truck, drives right down to that curve and gets on the inside of Stetzer. What a great move by Johnny Benson.
Yeah, once he gets that right foot fender up beside the left rear quarter panel, then he's got the spot. Dennis knew that. He let him go.
Johnny Benson moves up into the 3rd spot. It's 2 Chevrolets that are leading the way around Martinsville Speedway. Ron Hornaday has led every lap, and then his team owner Kevin Harvick and teammate running back right behind him in 2nd. The Camping World Chevrolet looking to make it another win on the 2008 season. Can he win at a racetrack where he's never won before? We're about to find out. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by the new Touch of Gray that lets you keep some gray hair. Touch of Gray, the generation that swore it would never get old. And by Advanced Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. The wheels have been turning for Johnny Benson.
Man, I guarantee you Harvick just called Hornaday up and said, hey, man, there's company coming.
Yeah.
I can't do anything with Johnny Benson. He's driven right around the outside of me, and he's heading your way.
Yeah, the cavalry's coming.
Check this pass out.
This is not your typical pass at Martinsville.
Around the outside. He got on the outside of him down the center of the corner. Leaves Kevin plenty of room. Kevin drifts up just a little bit.
A little bit of contact there. Kevin was on the inside. Got a little bit squirrely, but Johnny gets by relatively unscathed.
So Johnny's taken over the 2nd spot. Remember, 1 and 2 in the points are now running 1 and 2 on the racetrack. It was a 39-point deficit coming into this race that Johnny Benson would have to overcome. Now it's 64 points as they run. That is because Ron Hornaday has led a lap. He's led quite a few laps, actually, all of them up to this point. If he leads another 17 laps, he will lead the most laps as well. He's already led 84, so he wants to keep the 23 of Johnny Benson behind him. Let's fall through the field. We'll start off with Ron Hornaday, and we'll drop back through our top 10, beginning with Ray Dunlap.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Rick, after talking to Hornaday in the garage area here, I think he was a bit surprised that they got the pole. He knows this race truck's very good, and he was happy with it in practice, but he didn't feel like it was good enough to win the pole. But he was very happy to get those laps led, and if he gets to 101, he'll get the other 5 bonus points. So that's the really good part. Now, for Johnny Benson, he couldn't believe that those other guys didn't take tires. And remember, Johnny Benson ran very, very well in the Sprint Cup Series here at this racetrack back in 2002. He finished second here, had some really, really good battles, and he thinks this track fits his style pretty well. Hornaday, on the other hand, not a big fan of short tracks, at least here at Martinsville. Adam?
Kevin Harvick, Hornaday's teammate, currently riding in the 3rd position. The one thing they've talked about on the radio, conserving fuel. Typically enough cautions to get them to the end, but if we don't see a bunch more than what we're getting right now, they could be in danger of running out of fuel in the latter stages of this race. So that is something they're talking about on Harvick's radio. Meanwhile, Dennis Setzer, one of only 2 guys to win multiple times at Martinsville, finds himself riding in the 4th position. He was tight. They made a chassis adjustment on their first pit stop when they went fuel only. The 18 truck continues to be in a tight condition. Right behind him, another veteran and another former winner here at Martinsville. We're talking about Rick Crawford. He has been silent on the radio, and like so many other guys running in the top 10, he went fuel only on their first pit stop just north of lap 35. Ray?
On the first round of pit stops, Kyle Busch and his crew did a big track bar adjustment because his truck was so tight it wouldn't turn in the center at all. And believe it or not, even after that major chassis adjustment, he's still tight. So Kyle Busch not really able to advance through the field very much at all right now. And right behind him is the number 30 of Todd Bodine. You may wonder what did he do on his week off? Well, they won that big race at Talladega, a quick celebration, and then Todd went back to work in his kitchen. You see, he's a handyman. He lays a lot of tile, and he created a very intricate design in his kitchen. He tells me it turned out really, really cool. Maybe in the next couple of weeks we'll get you some good pictures of handyman Todd's work at his own house. Adam?
Sprint Cup regular Jamie McMurray making his first start in the Truck Series in a handful of years. Currently riding in the 8th position after starting 9th earlier today. He said earlier he's having a hard time driving because the throttle is sticking just a bit when he gets into the corner. Now, one reason we'll keep our eye on the 09 as this race continues is he took right side tires on that pit stop at lap 36. And as we talk about McMurray, there's caution on the track.
The 21 of John Wood gets turned around, and so that brings out our 4th caution of the day. Thank you, Ray and Adam. A lot of work on that, walking us through the field.
That's a big caution, Phil. Johnny Benson had caught Hornaday, and he's racing to that halfway point to try to get that lead so he could have a chance to lead the most laps today. But then right in the middle of that, the 71 and the 21, wow.
Yeah, they make contact in the middle of the straightaway, and unfortunately John gets the worst of it. There's Kevin Harvick right there going by. Kevin's running in the 3rd spot. I think Ron Hornaday knows that if Johnny Benson gets by him, that may be the last shot he has on him, and if he does it before halfway, and that could be the most laps led.
What is everybody going to think right now, though? Are we going to come get some tires?
I think everyone has to worry right now. I'm not so sure about the tires, Michael, but we haven't seen enough caution laps. I think these guys need more caution laps.
Pit road is open. None of the leaders are pitting.
Aaron's lucky dog going to the 99 of Eric Darnell, so he'll get the lead lap back. Rick Renz wondering, did we get enough fuel in it? Can we stay out front? The Kroger 200 continues.
Big deal.
Welcome back. Coming out of turn number 4, Ron Hornaday has a mirror full of Johnny Benson. Green flag back in the air. We're closing in on the halfway point.
Johnny Benson is going to press, Rick. He needs that lead.
Ooh, right away, the 71 gets into the curb and almost knocks the 23 out of the way.
Still there.
That may be just enough for Ron Hornaday. We've completed 97 laps. If Ron can lead 4 more, then he will be assured of getting the bonus for leading the most laps.
I think we got a flat or better rim.
Oh, man. You just heard Johnny Benson say, I think we got a flat or bent the rim.
Yeah, he got hit pretty hard there.
Ben Stansel got into the curb and shot out into Johnny Benson.
That just goes to show you how many variables can enter into winning a race at Martinsville. That curb vaults trucks into the side of you when they hit it on the inside.
Let's take a look back, Mikey, at what happened here. You see the 71 on the inside. Ron gets by him. 71 tries to get in there. He runs over the curb and then made some pretty good contact with the 23 of Johnny. It looked like there was more damage to the rear than the front. This is Hermie Sadler's on board.
Hits him right in the left rear corner. I don't think the tires flat are going flat, or he would know it by now. But if the wheel's bent, that's just jumping that truck around on him. It's making it not want to stick to the road as well as it was before because it's unbalanced.
Guess what? If Ron Hornaday gets to the start-finish line before Johnny, he will clinch the bonus for leading the most laps. Ooh, Jack's brakes turned around.
No caution.
No caution yet, and Ron Hornaday does lead this lap, so he will get the 5 extra points for leading the most laps.
101 laps led already by Ron Hornaday. What an impressive start to this race. We've given him some grief at the beginning of a lot of races about never leading laps here at Martinsville. He'd only led 7 coming in. But take a look at this. This is how Jack Sprague got turned around.
A little bit of contact from the 88 of Matt Craft, and around he goes. Jack does a nice job keeping that truck out of the outside wall.
Yeah, I bet the 23 would have liked to have seen a caution.
He's not going to stop. He's not going to stop if the caution comes out. Right now he's running second. He's not going to give up all that track position, is he, Mikey?
Nothing he could do about that. Just his truck is definitely different now.
Ray Dunlap, what is he saying?
Well, Johnny says it's shaking all over the place. The truck is jumping, especially through the center of the corner. And Trip Bruce said, look, we're looking at the left side. There's not even a tire mark on it. He said, maybe you lost a wheel weight. But he said, other than that, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to continue. And that's just where they've left it.
Yeah, he may have to come to pit road, but if he does come to pit road, that will take all chances of him winning this race out. So I think, and I mean, Tripp may not have seen the video that we saw that well, but there was some pretty hard contact. It may not be a tire mark on the fender, but there was some pretty good contact, maybe from tire to tire.
We've run about 10 laps since that restart. We saw some trucks running 13th, 14th, and 15th along in that area come to pit road, Phil. They've only made it back up to Timothy Peters' 19th, Skinner's 21st. You just can't make any ground. It's too crowded. Look how crowded it is out there.
Yeah, and they're still bumping and banging on the racetrack.
Where are you going to go?
That's Mike Skinner right there. Timothy Peters, a little contact right there. Timothy trying to get to the inside of the 08. Ryan Lawler.
Again, Timothy Peters was one of the trucks that we saw on pit road recently, and that number 17.
Timothy had a pretty good truck. He was running 14th when the caution came out. I thought it was a pretty good call coming down pit road, trying to make something happen, maybe put some tires on, but it's awfully tough sledding up there trying to get by these trucks.
Timothy Peters has worked his way back up to the 19th spot.
I think he's up to 18th now, and Skinner's coming into 19th, so they are making progress, but it's not a lot of progress.
Right along in that Toyota onboard of Mike Skinner's as we look forward to the 17 of Timothy Peters.
Ron Hornaday just ran a lap about 0.2 of a second off his fastest lap of the race, so these tires are not falling off, so you're not going to get a huge advantage coming to pit road to get fresh tires.
How about the story we saw at the beginning of the show with Timothy Peters selling a family heirloom so that he could buy a race truck and get out here and race here at Martinsville.
He's a great race car driver. Great to see him out here and doing so well. This is his home track essentially, and really does a great job here. He's had a couple top 10 finishes here at this racetrack, Adam, and doing a pretty good job today, Adam.
And really, they had nothing to lose by coming to pit road other than 5-6 positions. So that's what they did at lap 96. They took 4 tires and fuel, and it will be interesting to watch guys like he, Mike Skinner, and some of the others that came down there and pitted just shy of the midway point of this race, and see if those tires they put on will help them over the long haul at a place like Martinsville, where it is so difficult to make a pass.
Patience will have to be the key word, and we see debris on the racetrack. That brings out another caution, the 5th caution of the day.
Our leader, Ron Hornaday, brings Johnny Benson and Kevin Harvick, 2nd and 3rd place trucks through that area on the racetrack.
Something laying off turn 2 over there. Oh,
look at this.
7 of TJ Bell and the 11 of David Starr makes some pretty good contact. And there's
TJ spun him out and then straightened him back out.
It's like part of a splitter or the front end of one of the trucks.
It's like the fiberglass part of the nose off the 11 truck, it looked like.
And so they will move out and take care of that debris on the racetrack. It has been exactly what we thought would take place at Martinsville Speedway. Synchronized chaos as they make their way around the half-mile paperclip of Martinsville Speedway.
You know, this time of year, it seems like the yard work just won't ever end. And on today's Tools of the Trade, I want to show you Craftsman's brand new 18-volt battery-powered hedge trimmer. Now, this thing has a couple of neat features. Number one, the battery will run almost all day long. But number two, the handle is movable, so you can cut horizontal this way, or if you need to go vertical, it's a snap, just like that. Now, right there is just how easy this thing works, but there's another great function. You see, I twist that, take this off, and now it becomes 4 tools in one, because the battery will actually plug into other tools, like an edger, a pole trimmer, and also a blower. So you get 4 tools in one. Of course, they're all sold separately.
We want to apologize to Wayne Otten, too. He didn't know Ray was going to go over there and trim the bushes in front of his house, but actually, I think they look nicer now. Kevin Harvick running in the 3rd spot. Adam Alexander.
And Kevin Harvick has talked on the radio about how he has been saving his truck, perhaps not showing his full hand at this stage of the race, knowing they took only 2 tires when they pitted back at lap 36. And another guy in a similar situation is Rick Crawford, who is currently in the 5th position. Both of those guys have been very conservative on their runs, planning to make their run to the front momentarily once we get back under the green flag. And the other thing we should talk about is, under caution, we heard a report on a team radio that rain is 20 to 25 minutes away. According to the radar, we will keep our eye on the sky down here. Ray?
Rick Wren got on the radio to Ron Hornaday, and he said, do me a favor, save me as much fuel as you can. We're still 7 or 8 laps short right now. Of course, these caution laps will certainly help. And the reply back from Ron Hornaday was, my truck is very good for the first 4 or 5 laps, but then it immediately begins to get tight, and after 20, it's significantly tight.
Sometimes things happen on the racetrack, and we always try to show you the pictures. One of our cameras that is located right on the front stretch, right past the, well, you saw right there, right past the start-finish line, a piece of debris flew up and actually hit the lens, or actually the protective cover that's in front of the lens. So we had to pull that glass off of that camera. But that's the crazy things that happen at a racetrack.
Be careful there.
Oh, that's making me nervous.
You don't want to mess around with shattered glass.
I think there's a song about that.
Get ready for this restart here. This is a slow motion of that.
It's right after the 71 goes by. Look at that.
There it went. Wow. Big restart here for Ron Hornaday. Remember what happened last time we restarted? Johnny Benson had some contact from the 71 of Ben Stansel.
Green flag, green flag.
Look at Chad McCumbee. He laid back there, timed that restart, see what he can do when he gets down to turn 1. Not able to pull up on Ron Hornaday.
Johnny has a good corner, able to run around the outside of the 8 truck of McCumbee and stick right on Hornaday's tailgate.
So now Johnny Benson doesn't have the lap traffic to deal with on this restart. Is able to get by on
Look at Johnny's
lap.
all over Hornaday. Looks to the inside.
Johnny Benson taking a peek down to the inside again. He is now 3 wide once again here at Martinsville.
Johnny's on the inside, looking to the inside of Hornaday. He's got his nose in there. He dives into the inside.
Trying to hang on. He slides up the racetrack. Contact being made. Side by side across the start-finish line. And I saw some debris come off of one of those trucks right when they went across the start-finish line.
Could have been a little bit rubber buildup after this restart.
There's potential a cut tire could have happened there because of the way those two were rubbing against each other when they came out. They still haven't decided. Here comes Johnny Benson again to the inside.
And oh, by the way, there's Kevin Harvick, too, the owner of that 33 truck.
Kevin Harvick trying to get into the mix. Johnny Benson backing back now, backing off, and well, here comes Johnny Benson once again to the inside.
Good run off turn 2. Ron just runs down so far into the corner, holds Johnny off and pinches Johnny down. Johnny can't get that run off the turn he needs, but he's on the inside.
Ron knows right now that if Johnny gets by him, that could be the pass for the lead and the win. He's got to hold him back there.
He's trying to hold off. Johnny Benson with a really good corner that time.
Got sideways.
Oh, and then he turns it almost as he comes out of turn number 2. That allows Ron Hornaday to have the preferred line again.
Oh, and Harvick hits
now
Johnny.
Harvick's getting into the mix. He gets into the back of the 23. That turns him a bit. And David Starr gets turned around, and so now the caution will have to come out as David Starr can't get it going again.
No caution yet. David
still
Starr
haven't
does get it
seen
going.
He's rolling once again, and the caution won't come out, and so they stay racing. Ron Hornaday in front of Johnny Benson and Kevin Harvick across the start-finish line.
What a great call by NASCAR there to give David Starr some time to get his truck going. We had an incredible battle for the lead, and the guy that was trying to take it, Johnny Benson, tapped by the point leader's owner. I mean, it was dramatic right there.
I'm not sure that something didn't happen to Ron, which has caused the 23 to seize up, and that's why Kevin got into him.
I think we've got to pay attention to the left rear tire of this 33 truck. I think there might be issues coming later in this race.
Do what?
I'm telling you,
They
rubbed hard on that left rear.
How slow do you think a leak's going to be?
You keep your eye on that. I'm telling you right now, I think there's going to be an issue with that left rear.
Okay.
Well, I don't think there will be.
David Starr on the outside, 3 wide. That's what happens typically when you go 3 wide. Brendan was on the inside, looked like the 0-8.
We've seen
Lawler in the middle.
We've seen these guys make 3 wide a few times, so law of averages said they couldn't do it every time. And around goes David Starr. Didn't lose a lap.
All but a lap. He's got Ron Hornaday right now, right behind him, trying to put him a lap down.
He's about to go a lap down.
You know, Michael, we were talking about a few moments ago when there was contact between Benson and Harvick. Who the 03's having a problem right now. That's Dustin Skinner, Mike Skinner's son.
He's a lot of laps down.
There's a 33 of Ron Hornaday. He gets by the 11 of David Starr. But remember, just a few moments ago, Michael, we were talking about the contact between the 2 of Harvick in third and the 23 of Skinner. Watch this now. I'm sorry, the 23 of Johnny Benson. We go down in the corner. This is down in the 3. You see Ron there on the inside. He gets in front of Johnny. Ooh, Kevin makes just a little bit of contact right before it looked like Johnny might be able to get in the back of Ron Hornaday a little bit.
Johnny couldn't go because Ron hadn't gone yet, but Kevin didn't realize what all was going on ahead of him. I bet you there were some tense moments there out of Johnny Benson's helmet. I'm sure he didn't appreciate getting run into by Hornaday. By Hornaday's owner, Harvick.
Johnny's going to fight back here. He's gained several truck lengths on Ron Hornaday while he was trying to get by the 11 of David Starr. Hey, Ray, what were they talking about on the radio down there?
Well, Phil, you remember about 4 races ago when NASCAR implemented the change on the plate size for the Toyotas. Well, Johnny Benson doing a little politicking there on the radio. He said, I was side by side with Hornaday. He said, if we didn't have a restrictor plate on this Toyota, I'd have been able to make the pass on that Chevrolet. And the team came back and said, yeah, that's a big 10-4. So doing a little politicking on the radio. Adam?
Ray, when you talked to Kevin Harvick in our setup show earlier today, he said the primary reason for running in this race, to have fun. And a perfect example of that, after the contact on the racetrack moments ago with Johnny Benson, he said, hey, the 23 got up there and messed with Hornaday. That probably cost me $1,500, so I just thought I'd go up and take it back out of his bumper cover. No doubt Harvick having fun, and he looks pretty dang good on the racetrack as well.
He does look good on the racetrack. What a great battle between these guys here. We've got a 3-time champion Ron Hornaday. We've got a guy, Johnny Benson, that's knocked down the door of this championship so many times.
And that time by, they ran within 100th of a second of each other. Their trucks are nearly identical.
2 guys battling for a championship on the racetrack and a race win here at Martinsville Speedway. Ron Hornaday, Johnny Benson side by side bumping into each other here on the paperclip. It's time to test your Truck Series knowledge with the Aaron's Lucky Guess trivia question. What driver has the most wins in their first 50 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series starts? And oh, by the way, Kyle Busch is making his 50th NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start today.
I got a guess.
You have a guess?
I'm not going to tell you.
I got a guess.
You have a guess, but you're not going to tell me.
Well,
hold on.
Talk about it among ourselves, and then we'll let you know if we're right.
Oh, we got a spinner off turn 4. Is that Jeff Green?
Jeff Green in the Ford. It gets turned around, and that will bring out the caution. This is the 6th caution of the day. Now, up to this point, we have only had 25 laps of caution, and we only have about 60 laps of racing to go.
Yeah, these guys are breathing a bit of sigh of relief right now because they need some more caution laps, I think, Michael. Yeah, this is not going to be enough.
We heard them during the last caution saying we're only about 6 or 7 laps short now of making it to the finish. So this will get them 3 or 4. And the way Hornaday and Benson were racing, we might get another caution or 2, I bet. That was fun racing.
There's that left rear tire we were supposed to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I don't think there's any problem with that. I don't even know what you brought that up for earlier. Again, there was some contact between Johnny Benson and the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Here's Jeff Green getting turned around.
It looked like he just jumped out from under him. The 71 of Ben Stancil was beside him.
Take a look at this from the...
It looks like there was a little contact from the 71 of Ben Stancil, but it looked like it was a kind of a chain reaction thing.
They all stacked up.
Adam Alexander.
Big call.
And surprising, Jamie McMurray comes to pit road. The reason why, an issue with the left front, major vibration. He said, I don't think it's going to make it unless we come down. Chad Norris regretfully said, come down pit road. 4 tires fuel, and he pulls off. David Starr making a stop here as well. And that's going to make it a big-time challenge to get back to the front with less than 60 laps to go.
It's going to be extremely difficult. We've got 25 trucks right now on the lead lap.
Well, let me just give you another little bad news for Johnny Benson. Timothy Peters, who restarted about 21st, has raced for 50 laps and made it up to 15th. So there's not a lot of room out there. We've documented that. It's going to be very tough for Johnny to rebound from this late caution and get anything decent out of this finish.
You mean Jamie McMurray?
What did I say, Johnny?
Johnny.
Yeah, I didn't mean that.
Okay.
I think Johnny's still got a pretty good idea that he might be able to win this race.
Glad you're up here to tell people what I mean when I say what I say.
How about Donnie
I've been around
Leah?
you a long time, you know.
Donnie Leah starting this race in the 12th spot. He's moved up to 8th. Has a win already in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series earlier this year at a short track.
And he's won on this racetrack. And modified a couple years ago.
And late in that run, he was running laps that were comparable to our leaders. He's got a fast truck.
Sam Hornish making his first Truck Series start. He's got a little bit of a little damage on the inside of that race truck. Ray Dunlap, what's going on with Johnny?
Well, he just came on the radio to tell Trip Bruce that he is saving a little bit of fuel. He said, I think we're going to be okay here. I'm going to lay back a bit. He said, do me a favor. Tell me when it's 20 to go. So I have a feeling that Johnny Benson may not be quite done here with his battle on Ron Hornaday.
Well, I watched the times up here, Ray, in the booth, and Johnny can run a 10th or so faster than Ron for a lap or two, and then he falls back off. I don't know if that's him making sure that truck is as good as he thinks it is and then conserving fuel for a little while, but he does show signs of still being quite a bit faster than Hornaday.
Remember, he was all over Ron on this last restart we had, so that may be the best time for him to do something. He may want to lay back there till 20 to go, but I think if he can take advantage and pounce on him on the restart, I think he needs to.
What about our championship battle and those guys running all over each other here at the short track at Martinsville?
That reminds you of Toledo last week in the Remax Series.
Green flag about to come back out.
And
56 laps to go from Martinsville.
And then Kevin is sitting back there. He's like the judge. If Johnny does something he don't like, he's going to go up there and make sure he has to pay for that.
If Johnny roughs Ron up, then Kevin Harvick's going to reciprocate.
Well, and not as good a restart there for Johnny Benson this time, but it looks as though he's going to be able to clear that lap traffic going through 3 and 4.
The key was the 0-7 on the inside of Johnny Sauter did not race our leader Ron Hornaday down in the corner like Chad McCumbee did the time before that.
Now we see the 2 of Kevin Harvick. He'll fall in line, but he falls in line behind that 0-7 of Sauter, as you mentioned. So he's going to try to get by them. Terry Cook on the inside.
Jack Sprague
on the inside of Eric Darnell. Jack Sprague in that 60 now.
You can see these guys battling for right around 18th or 19th place. Check out Eric Darnell.
See him on the outside right there with the 5 of Mike Skinner. Whoa, he gets big time loose.
No problems with the 6. Colin Brown gets turned around. That brings out another caution for us.
He was running in the top 10.
Yeah, a lot of damage to the front of that.
Pretty hard on the left front, right front. He's coming around. I don't see much smoke.
Come on,
Colin.
It's Bobby Hudson, the spotter for Colin Brown. Mike Beam also talking.
He took that truck straight to pit road. He knows he's got some pretty significant damage. Be lucky if the radiator isn't busted. You can see how hard the front end is bent down there.
Let's take another look at how this happened.
Looks like the back is.
Kent comes off the corner, makes some pretty hard contact. Looked like the 88 possibly of Matt Crafton was behind him. Don't know if there was any contact.
He was trying to hold his truck down off of Donnie Leah. He had driven up on the inside of Leah, had the wheels cut to the left with the gas wide open. It just jumped out from underneath of him.
Almost sounded like it spun the tires up off the corner. He could have got into the gotten back up by the 88 of Matt Crafton. Lifted the rear tires off the ground.
Yeah, couldn't tell. Certainly spun them.
So Colin Brown brings out our 7th caution of the race, closing in on the final 50 laps from Martinsville.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Ford, who invite you to tune in to Ford Championship Weekend on Speed, November 14th.
Answer to the trivia question. Ray, did you have a guess, by the way?
My guess
starts?
was Greg Biffle.
That's incorrect. Guys in the booth?
We all know who it was.
Mike Skinner.
Mike Skinner.
Mike Skinner had 16 wins in his first 50 starts. And actually it went 8-8 the first 2 seasons. So pretty impressive for Mike Skinner. Green flag back in the air here at Martinsville Speedway. Ron Hornaday will try to hold off that 23 of Johnny Benson. Benson looked to the outside at the start. Now all over the back bumper of Hornaday.
This is 2 restarts ago. Has that same look. Johnny right there with Ron Hornaday.
And Johnny never did hit Ron in the back. He was just able to get up beside Ron. Did hit him in the side a little bit. Those guys battled hard for that lead.
And they continue.
I don't think gas is an issue, Phil. I believe that last caution got us now where we can just hammer down to the finish.
Well, they're going to hammer down anyway. Whether gas is an issue or not, they're going to try to save some if there's another caution. Ooh, look, they gets in the back of him. Gets him a little sideways possibly.
Johnny Benson looked to the inside immediately when that happened. Can he take the lead away from Hornaday? Down the back stretch they go, side by side.
Looks like Johnny's got a better truck on the short.
He
overdrives the corner.
He locked his left front brake, slid up the hill, and that gave Johnny just what he was looking for, some room to exit the corner. When he came off turn 4, he could take that truck all the way out to the wall and takes the lead.
We have a new leader at Martinsville. It took Johnny Benson all of 155 laps to get there, but now Benson is in front of Ron Hornaday.
And I don't think Benson got Hornaday sideways off 4. I think the 33 just got a little loose off turn 4, and Johnny was right there. I believe if Johnny had knocked Ron sideways to get that lead, Ron would have knocked him back sideways when they got to the first corner.
Take another look at what just took place on this pass. Now again, that was after we saw the 33 get a little bit loose.
You can see right here, look, the left front tire locks up. You see the Goodyear stop spinning, and Johnny got what he was looking for, the ability to exit turn 4 without having to pinch his truck down off of Ron Hornaday. The lap before that, coming off turn 4, Ron got sideways. I don't think Johnny hit him. I think Ron just got a little sideways, and Johnny took advantage of it.
And so now it is Johnny Benson in front of Ron Hornaday, and we've thought pretty much this entire race Johnny Benson had one of the strongest trucks, if not the strongest truck, and now he's trying to pull away from Ron Hornaday.
And these guys are running fast laps here. Both those guys within 0.2 of a second of their fastest lap of the race the last time around. This last lap, Johnny Benson 1/10 of a second off his fastest lap of the entire race.
And remember, Johnny Benson has fresher tires than Ron Hornaday. Hornaday and Harvick, when they came onto pit road early in this race, they only put fuel on. They only put fuel in. They did not put tires on. Johnny Benson, he put 4 tires on. And so he has fresher tires than the other 2 trucks he's racing against.
And we're talking 30 or 40 laps fresher, Rick, and so that's a pretty significant deal. But I think Johnny's truck's just better. He does have the advantage of having the better tires, but look what he's doing. He's driven around Hornaday. He drove around Harvick, Setzer to get into this position. He's just got a really good truck.
Kyle Busch, normally a contender in every NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, currently running back in the 6th spot. Ray, what's he talking about?
Well, earlier you remember I said his truck was really tight. In the last 10 laps, Kyle has said, I believe we must have a flat left front tire. And his crew chief, Richie Waters, looked and said, no, the tire is definitely up. And Kyle has now diagnosed it as a left front spring that must have collapsed on his truck, because he said every time he gets to the corner, that left front of the front splitter just drags on the racetrack, and it appears that Colin Brown may be having more trouble on the racetrack.
Yeah, Colin Brown into the wall hard once again, and so a lot of damage to that race truck.
No caution, though, Rick. He kept her going. NASCAR left the green flag out. I love that. I love they're letting these guys race.
Well, he's not right now in the way, and so I'm guessing that they're hoping that he will make it back to pit road, but he doesn't make the hard left turn. He stays on the racetrack and continues to race.
Let's take a look back at what happened to Colin Brown. Here he is going in the corner. He's going to get on the front.
I think he got some help.
Yeah, he did, for
Looked
sure.
like he did get some help. Did a nice little Little 360, maybe not even into the outside wall, and away you went.
A lot of damage to the front end of that race truck. So Colin Brown carrying the Conway freight, Ford F-150 camera around the racetrack, working his way, trying to keep that pointed in the same or the right direction. The 23 of Johnny Benson working his way around slower lap traffic. Ron Hornaday trying to do the same. Kevin Harvick has been running in the top 3. This is a battle for 7th and 8th. Donnie Leah right behind Todd Bodine. We've seen this show before.
Saw it at Mansfield.
Donnie Leah has been solid all day long. Todd got off to a shaky start, then got some damage on an early caution, but he's rebounded to be solid as well in that 30 Toyota.
There's the 51 of Kyle Busch right now. He runs 6th, Todd 7th, Donnie Leah 8th, and right behind Donnie Leah, the 88 is Matt Crafton running 9th.
Sam Morris Jr. in that number 4 Penske truck rental.
Brennan gone.
Yep.
Good run for Brennan right now. Brennan, that is a battle for the 11th spot right there.
Brendan Gaughan holding on to 11th. Sam Hornish Jr. trying to take it away from him, but Brendan able to get out in front.
Brendan's got some left front tire rub there. Smoking getting down into the corner.
Brendan started all the way back in the 27th position.
Impressive run for that team.
Timothy Peters trying to look under Hornish. You see Scott Speed is down on the inside of Shelby Howard. Shelby doesn't leave him a whole lot of room, but he was able to stay there.
We saw a glimpse of that 17 of Peters. Timothy Peters is up into the 13th spot. It's Johnny Benson now trying to pull away from Ron Hornaday at Martinsville Speedway. Welcome back to the Kroger 200. David Starr makes the hard left turn behind the wall and into the infield area. He has just got into the wall. Take another look at this.
He's racing with the 16 of Brian Scott. Brian gets to the inside. They get down to the corner, just make some contact. The Zachary Toyota can make some pretty hard contact with a outside wall.
Here's Direct TV hot pass. Hermie Sadler.
He's seen everything.
He's giving us great. He's used to being informative. That's what you do on hot pass. You teach everybody what's happening.
Right.
Hermie's just riding around trying to find the next issue, and he's going to show it to you.
And we're riding shotgun with him. And there's our Aaron's lucky dog right there. Northern Tool and Equipment Ford of Eric Darnell. It's his second lucky dog, I think, of the race.
He's going to try 4 more tires and try to get that thing tuned up. He's had a couple of top 5 finishes here, but today's not his day.
25 trucks are on the lead lap. The great battle up in front between Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday on the racetrack. But all you have to do is tune in to speedtv.com. Check out what's normally a private entry, which is the diaries. Ron Hornaday and Johnny Benson both having a diary that they will put on Speed TV for everyone to witness until the end of this season to find out who the champion will be. Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. The final 20 laps of racing about to take place. It's Johnny Benson in front of Ron Hornaday. And it's all coming down to these final 20 laps. It happens like this week in and week out in this series.
Johnny told his crew to let him know when there's 20 to go, he's going to turn her loose. He better turn her loose now because Ron Hornaday's going to be all over him.
And there he is, all over him. He's got the 8. You heard his spotter say clear low. That was Johnny's spotter. Ron not able to clear the 8 of Chad McCumbee yet. Now he's got him cleared.
Now he gets by him. Now all he has to do is get by Johnny Benson, who's had one of the strongest trucks all day.
Saw him lock the left front tire up again, trying to get in that corner really, really hard.
Something about the entry to turn 3. We see it in the Cup cars. You can skid that left front tire really easy, and you've seen it with Ron. You know he's giving it all he's got right now, and when he tries to dive into 3 a little bit harder, it slides that left front. His truck goes up the hill, and Johnny Benson drives away.
Johnny Benson's been so strong this entire race. Again, Johnny Benson came in and on his pit stop put 4 fresh tires on, where the other lead lap trucks never put tires on. He was one of the only ones to do that. Everybody else did fuel.
You got to give a hand to his crew. I mean, they only lost 2 or 3 spots by putting on 4 tires, and most everybody either got gas or 2 tires anyway.
And they knew everyone was going to do that while they did it.
And he got those 4 tires in a hurry, so Johnny owes a lot of credit to his crew if he's able to hold off Ron for these next 17 laps.
Good battle right there. There's the 30 truck of Todd Bodine. He's running 7th right now. There's a side-by-side battle with the 88 of Matt Kraft and Donnie Lee in the 81. Now Donnie's able to pull to the outside of the lap truck of Jeff Green.
Donnie
Gets
Lee
a
is
little loose off the corner.
Yep, he's trying to get back by that 30. He had gotten by Todd Bodine, and now a little contact there. Jeff Green gets into the back of that 81.
There's TJ Bell right there. He's also racing up in the top 10 right now, trying to get that 9th spot away from Matt Crafton.
Adam Alexander, what's going on with that 22?
Yeah, you know, he started 32nd today, and they really have fought getting into the corner and getting that truck slowed down to make sure he can make the turn. But they have battled back thanks to a good pit strategy that allowed him to get a lap back early in this race. He's up to 12th in the running order and looking for his second top 10 of the year at this racetrack. He was able to do that earlier this season running for Morgan Dollar Motorsports, now Randy Moss Motorsports. So this is a kid that really understands what it takes, and every lap he makes today is big because he will make his Sprint Cup Series debut here tomorrow in that 84 Red Bull car. Ray?
Back up to the front, Adam, when we've seen Ron Hornaday a couple of times lock up the brakes on the front, and Rick Wren came on the radio and told him, you're glowing your front rotors a little bit. He said, why don't you try putting a turn of bias to the rear? And that means he's going to add a little more rear brake and take a little brake away from the front. We'll see if that helps Hornaday any, but he said his front rotors were really glowing the last 2 times by.
Now, we've seen some crazy things happen in the truck series, but have you ever seen the owner of a truck bump his truck that's running in front of him?
Well, I just did a minute ago.
You know,
Kevin Harvick just ran into the back of the 33.
He was saying, let's go, Ron. These guys are catching me back here. You know, they talked about the rotors glowing, but it's gotten considerably darker here at Martinsville. So any heat or any glow to those front rotors, you're going to notice it more now. I know Ron's struggling with braking on that truck, and evidently overall the handling on it, because his teammate couldn't keep up with him earlier, and now he's right there with him.
I really don't think we're going to see Kevin go by Ron because, again, Kevin knows that's 5 points. I think if spinning a backstretch, caution flag is out.
And
Jeff Green again.
The 9th time the caution has come out. This time it's for Jeff Green on lap 191. We were reeling in the final laps of this race.
No lap trucks down on the inside of our leaders, so it's going to be Johnny versus Ron without anybody for Johnny to pick Ron off on.
And who better to have a restart than Ron Hornaday, and he's right behind Johnny Benson on this restart.
See, Jeff Green gets hooked by Sam Hornish. Looked like Sam moved up and Jeff was still there, and it sent Jeff's truck out of control.
Yeah, Shibley Howard did a nice job avoiding that incident as Jeff Green spun right down in front of him. No free pass, no lucky dog here.
Inside of 10 laps remaining from Martinsville Speedway, the final 5 races of the season. And it is Johnny Benson in front of Ron Hornaday. Can he stay there? We're going to find out when we come back.
Hey, guys, Johnny came in 3rd, went out 6th on that pit.
There you have it. Johnny came in 3rd, went out 6th. The Kroger 200. The final laps are coming up here from Martinsville Speedway in Martinsville, Virginia.
Hey, we just saw Donnie Leah apparently run out of fuel. Now, we thought fuel could be an issue. We haven't had as many caution laps as we typically have. Remember, 65 is the average. Right now, we've had 43 caution laps. Donnie Leah was the first guy to run out. Is he going to be the only guy to run out of fuel?
Well, are there some worried crew chiefs right now?
Wow, they weren't. I guarantee you they said it's all fine. We can make it. And now Donnie Leah runs out, and we still have 6 laps to go.
That's one of the worried crew chiefs right there, Trip Bruce.
Johnny Benson's crew chief.
He might have just a little more gas, though. He got 4 tires, so it took him longer to pit. So they would have put more gas in it, maybe.
Ernie Cope.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's crew chief, Ernie Cope, right there.
Johnny needs to have a career restart here, and he does. He gets
Single
off.
file restart, green flag in the air. Johnny Benson in front of Ron Hornaday. The final 5 laps of racing.
Ron may feel like this is his only shot here to do something with Johnny. Johnny gets off the corner good. Got a truck length right now on Ron. Ron locks that lock run up again.
And that allows Kevin Harvick to get right up next to him, but we know Kevin won't pass him.
We assume Kevin won't pass him.
We would assume Kevin wouldn't pass him. Team owner for the 33.
You can see Johnny. Oh, Hornaday's out of gas.
He's out of gas.
Hornaday goes to the inside. He looks like he keeps it going, though, now.
It picked back up. If you watch, it won't go now.
Out again. There he is, out of fuel right now.
A huge event taking place here as Hornaday trying to move back and forth to get fuel on the pickup. And so Ron Hornaday with issues with that truck. The caution has not come out.
Ron's coasting through turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, what a huge point implication this is going to be.
This is going to be very big for Johnny Benson.
We've got 24 trucks right now on the lead lap. The best Ron Hornaday is going to do if he gets back to his pit. Look like he's not going to make it. I don't know if he's going to make it.
If the caution flag comes out now, a green-white checker could compromise other people's ability to get to the checker flag. He's still rolling. The white flag is out.
White flag in the air. 1 lap to go for Johnny Benson. Kevin Harvick looks like he's out as well. Kevin Harvick is weaving back and forth. Here comes Dennis Setzer now as Harvick runs out of fuel. He will pull in right beside his team truck, and now it's all Johnny Benson working his way out of turn number 4. Benson is going to win in Martinsville. Benson with that win will now take over the lead. Problems coming out of turn number 4. Brendan Gaughan gets turned around. And right there, a huge point implication today. 65-point swing. Well, more than that, 65 points is the lead that Johnny Benson now has over Ron Hornaday.
Does everybody see how hard it is to win one of these darn things? Ron dominated the race early. Looked like he was cruising home to a second-place finish, and that fast. He loses 60. He's 65 points behind. Went in over 30 ahead.
39 points ahead coming into this race. It looks like he was going to lose 10. If Johnny wins, he finishes second. He ends up now 65 points behind. Ray Dunlap, who have you caught up with? One happy crew chief, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Trip Bruce. And Trip, the question is, was the 4-tire stop planned right from the beginning?
Yeah, we planned that several weeks ago, talking about how we were going to go after this thing. We decided we were going to race for it. You know, we're going to race every race, try and win them, run as fast as we can. We thought the way to win here was not pit strategy, but have the fastest truck.
What's the story with Rocky and the hot dogs? I heard you talking on the radio.
And all the years I met Rocky in the mid-90s, and every year he's been here, he's never had one of the Martinsville hot dogs. And we bought 20, and we split them up between 10 of us, made me 2 of them. And he said he'd do it for the luck.
It must have worked out. He's talking about Rocky Ryan, the crew chief, or excuse me, the spotter for Johnny Benson. Johnny Benson had never led a lap coming into Martinsville today. He leads the most important one today, gets the victory.
And Ron Hornaday has to be dejected after, like you said, having such a strong performance. Led the first 100 laps. I mean, he locked up the most laps led at the beginning of this race. And then Johnny Benson forced his way past and got that lead.
Just think about this championship, guys. We were here in the spring. Johnny Benson's coming to the checker running second. Boom, 25th.
Yep.
Ron's coming to the white running second. Now he finishes 29th. That's amazing, the twists and turns that this championship has taken right here at one track.
A 104-point swing here today.
Take another look at what happened. This is the end of the race coming out of turn number 4. Brendan Gaughan gets turned around.
Brendan Gaughan was running in the top 10. He's running in 10th spot. And Timothy Peters might have gotten to the back of Brendan.
Mike Skinner's view.
But you have to realize if Peters did get in the back of Brendan, there was the truck of Harvick limping on the inside. There was a lot of stuff going on right there.
This is Hermie Sadler's look from the hot pass on board.
Hermie's just going to try to pick his way through there.
That's actually the Conway 6 truck of Colin Brown.
Matt Crafton wasn't too happy at the end of that race. Looks like he may have calmed down just a bit as he's walking on pit road.
He's kind of got that walk like he hadn't calmed down any.
Like you maybe want to say hello to somebody?
Like to address it with someone. Timothy definitely got into the back of Brennan, but there was a lot of traffic right there because of the slow truck of Harvick.
Yeah, Kevin was trying to make his way to the start-finish line. He was on the very bottom of the racetrack, as far out of the way as he could be, but that did create at least a 2, if not a 3-wide situation around him.
I'm sure that doesn't make Brendan feel any better about getting spun out, racing inside the top 10 within what? 100 yards, 200 yards from the checker flag?
Well, you never know with these things till the very end. As you mentioned, we saw it with Johnny last time here. He was about 200 yards from the start-finish line, maybe 300 yards. Ends up with a 25th place finish. But now it's Johnny Benson who will be celebrating in victory lane.
You remember a year ago, though, one guy would lead one week, the other the next.
Yep.
We're setting ourselves up for that same thing.
It's happened again. Again, a 104-point swing. Johnny Benson, your point leaders in victory lane.
And here he comes. Johnny Benson will climb out of this number 23. Almost hard to believe. A truck with no sponsorship on it today. But what an unbelievable points day. And Johnny Benson, you had never led a lap at Martinsville till today, and man, you had a strong truck.
That was pretty cool. I don't know what to say. You know, Trip Bruce and those guys did a great job, and week in and week out, they always build me great trucks to go race with. And got to thank you know, everybody. Well, not everybody on this week. We didn't have anything, but still, Toyota certified used vehicles and Exide batteries, and of course Toyota for everything that they do. TRD, just everybody involved. Trip, you're the man, brother. And yeah, you know, I learned a lot today. Probably more from the 24 today, sitting down in 1 and 2 during our 3 hours worth of just sitting around waiting for the race to start. So I sat down there and watched for a bit, watched a bunch of different lines down there, and Trip gave me a good truck, no doubt, but just a couple different lines down there really worked out great. So got to say hi to my girls at home. They're sitting there watching us. Too bad they couldn't be here. So God, who else we got to thank? Just everybody. You know, Bill and Gail Davis, and like I say, everybody at Toyota. The engine ran flawless. Goodyear tires were awesome. Just it's just way too cool. I love Martinsville. I don't like sometimes how it races here, but it's cool to be in Victory Lane here, I can tell you that.
Johnny, 104-point swing today, but I think the most amazing part, Skinner comes in here to give him congratulations. The most amazing part is a lot of guys talked about maybe not even pitting today. The rest of them went with fuel only, and you guys came in with a planned 4-tire stop, and I think maybe that was the difference to get you enough fuel to get to the end.
Well, we came in the same time they did, so our fuel aspect was about the same. But I knew that, you know, with the different plate that we got that nobody else has got or whatever, it takes more fuel mileage. So, or it uses more fuel. I'm sorry. And I was really having to be easy on the gas, and our Tundra cornered so good. It was just unbelievable. That's where we made all of our time up through the corners, and and then right at the end, I was starting to pedal a little bit when I had that lead, and then of course I saw. I didn't know I happened to run. I don't know if he ran out of fuel or what he did, but the minute I saw that, I just assumed it was fuel. I let right off the gas and just half throttled the last 2 laps. And you know, I saw Kevin coming, but I figured he'd probably be close, same boat. I'm pretty sure we're out. I wasn't going to go around and do a victory lap, so I'm sure we're out too.
Well, congratulations on getting to victory lane. 4 to go in the championship chase.
Well, it ain't over until it's over, you know. I mean, we had a 119-point lead a little while ago, and of course we had our misfortunes at Vegas, but Trip and the guys just weekly do a great job for me, so that makes my job a little easier.
All right, congratulations. Johnny Benson back to victory lane, the first time ever for him here at Martinsville.
And this is how he did it. Johnny Benson moved to the inside of that 33. Had the strong truck powered by him down the back stretch. And Johnny Benson goes on and wins his first race at Martinsville Speedway. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears. Adam caught up with Dennis Setzer, who finished second in this race.
For Dennis Setzer, it's no Martinsville sweep in 2008, but pretty dang close. Talk about your second place finish today, Dennis.
Well, these guys here at BHR, they've done a great job. You know, Marcus Richmond had his team prepare this thing, turned really well all day, and, you know, really played the fuel strategy game, you know, paid some dividends. These guys worked hard on that in the spring race, and we got a win and got a second here out of that deal now.
A broken record, another top 5 finish for Dennis Setzer at Martinsville.
Yeah, huge surprise for Dennis to finish in the top 5.
Hey, Ray, what's going on trackside?
Well, we're going to get down here and try to talk with Ron Hornaday. He just came in, changed his clothes, got out of the truck. And, Ron, it's unbelievable, the highs and lows of this season. A great truck today, and you just didn't quite make it to the end.
That's all you can ask for. You know, you try to save fuel, but you can't, especially here in Martinsville. And Johnny was a lot better up off the corner, so he's probably saving a little bit getting in. But, you know, we win and lose as a team, and we'll take this one and go on. And I don't know where it puts us, but it was a bad day for us. And I guess next time just stop on the track and cause a big wreck. You know, I was trying to be as nice as I can to get to the bottom. I just stop in the groove next time. But it's tough. A lot of other guys would have ran out of another green-white checkered. But good day with the Camper World Chevrolet. It sat on the pole and ran good, so that's all we can ask.
Take a look at these final 4 races. We go to 3.5 and then Phoenix. How do you like your chances on those last 4 races?
Well, I like my chances everywhere. I mean, Kevin Delaney's been giving me great trucks. Rick Wren all the guys, VFW with all their support, and Mark Smith with the motor. So we just got to get better fuel mileage, and we don't know why. This is every year we do this, and we try to figure it out. But we'll take it. We'll take the horsepower over the fuel mileage. We just got to figure it out right now. And you know, Chevrolet's been working hard, and highs and lows. And this is the funny part about the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. You think you're on top, and all of a sudden you're back on the bottom. So we'll see. We'll keep on running, and we'll try to do like the last race. And congratulations to Johnny. He had a heck of a truck.
All right, thank you, Ron. Unbelievable the last couple of weeks as we've seen the championship battle just continue to get crazier week from week. Adam?
Rick Crawford has been strong in recent weeks. Another good run today, 7th top 5 of the year. Talk about what was an eventful day on track, no doubt.
It really wasn't an eventful day. It was typical Martinsville, though. We had some lap traffic on the inside that was sometimes tough to get around, but they were doing their job. And, you know, we were planning a 200-lap run without changing tires, but we dipped in for splashes Sunoco fuel, and Goodyear tires lasted all day. But the Built Ford Tough F-150, the Ford Power Stroke Diesel Veteran National, kept performing and pulling all day. It's fun to drive. But I tell you what, Adam, I had to race today with my boss in mind. It's his birthday, 77 years old today, still riding his Harley Davidson. Got out for an early morning ride this morning, and I just have to wish him a happy birthday today. And the race team races for him always. And the biggest thing about it is you know, he's been with me for 17 years, and I'm really proud of that.
Mr. Mitchell celebrating with a top 5 today.
Take a look at our Ford point standings. Johnny Benson now has a 65-point lead over Ron Hornaday. Ron Hornaday said he went to the bottom. Well, the bottom's not too far from the top right now. 65 points out of the lead. Now let's see how Johnny Benson and his number 23 Toyota Tundra team had the winning touch in today's race.
Just a nice move. He was able to get up under Ron coming off the corner. There he is. He gets him, beats him down in the corner, gets on the inside. Ron overdrives turn 3, slides the left front tire. Johnny takes the lead and heads off to victory.
Both those guys, you know, they're touching grade just for men touching grade candidates. They're getting on up there just like me. It's fun, the Craftsman Truck Series. You see kids, you see the older guys, and the racing is just incredible.
Take a look at these unofficial results. Johnny Benson, Dennis Setzer comes home second after Kevin Harvick runs out of fuel as well. Rick Crawford, another top 5 here at this racetrack. How about Kyle Busch making it up to the 4th spot?
You got 345 plus guys in the top 5 and 1 kid. So you never know who's going to be the story in the Craftsman Truck Series.
TJ Bell gets another top 10 finish, 6th. Another great, equals his best career finish.
How about Sam Hornish, by the way? That's his best NASCAR finish ever. He was top 10 here.
Jason White drove that Billy Blue truck up to 14th place. Jamie Murray got tires late and then got tangled up with that mess off turn 4, winds up 22nd.
Well, bumping and banging taking place and a few trucks not making it the entire distance today at Martinsville. We'll be right back with more from the Speedway.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Welcome back. A gorgeous sight here in Martinsville, Virginia, and an eventful finish. It wasn't.
What about the hint Donnie Leah gave us there with about 10 laps to go? All those crew chiefs sitting on their box all fat and happy, knowing they're just going to go right to the finish. All of a sudden, Leah runs out of gas. Oh, no.
Yeah. And they all start sweating. Yeah, obviously, Rick Wren and Ernie Cope had a big reason to sweat because neither one of those 2 trucks made it to the finish.
The hat dance continuing for Johnny Benson. First time he's ever been to victory lane here at Martinsville Speedway, and he will take home the trophy. Next Saturday, Atlanta Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at 1 o'clock with Chris Devoto.
Have we seen some great finishes in Atlanta?
Well, we've seen great finishes all year long, and Atlanta is always a great one. So make sure to tune in next Saturday for that. Thanks for joining us here at Martinsville Speedway. For Adam Alexander, Ray Dunlap, Michael Waltrip, and Phil Parsons, I'm Rick Allen saying so long. See you next week.